Hello everyone, I am Coolguy, welcome back, and today let's give an update on the new and improved Hunter Exotic Gauntlets, the Mechaneer's Tricksleeves. In the description is a link to the original review, it goes over in depth what they do, but at its base, for sidearms, they give increased ready and reload speed, so you switch to it fast, you aim down sights fast, you reload fast, but with what they added is when you're critically wounded, swapping to a sidearm grants increased damage. The perk itself is active when the Tricksleeves flavor text is on screen. It becomes available when you're in red health, critical health, and the buff's going to stay there until you're out of red. Before we talk about it in depth, let's see what Bungie wanted out of it. They say, we went for a fantasy of a holdout weapon, the pistol tucked into your sleeve that you pull out in an emergency to save you. These changes should let you turn around a gunfight more easily, and I can confirm they have achieved their vision. These changes do let you turn around a gunfight a little bit more easily. Essentially, with how the damage works out, the Tricksleeves grant the damage equivalent of kill clip, 30% more bonus damage. Any type of extra damage perk does get added to this, such as a rampage or a kill clip itself, but whatever the base critical damage a sidearm does, it's going to do that to the body with the Tricksleeves buff active. So even if your shots are all off and you're just spamming the body down, it's as if you were landing all critical shots. Let's talk about how the RPM classes are working. Starting off, we have the 260 RPMs, Swift Verdict, Enigma's Draw. Base damage does 41 critical, and with the Tricksleeves buff, it does 54. 300 RPMs, like the Rat King, the 18 Kelvins, base damage is 38 per critical, and with the Tricksleeves buff, it does 51, a 4-tap. Now the Kelvin does have kill clip. Kill clip's base damage is 51, and remember, these keep adding to each other, so with kill clip, it does a monster 67 damage, a 3-shot kill. 360 RPM, Rattler, 11th hour, base damage is 34 critical. And with the Tricksleeves buff, it is 45 critical. And that's what the Rattler kill clip does by itself, but with this buff, it does 60 to the critical. 450 RPM, full auto, like Dead Man's Walking, Fool's Remedy, does 28 base to the critical, and with the Tricksleeves buff, they do 36. And then we have our 491s, our Burst, Last Hope, Atana. Base, they do 26 to the head, and with the Tricksleeves, they do 34 per bullet. So that's a 2-burst kill, totaling a massive 102 damage per burst. Before we get into some ways to use them, I believe this is a substantial buff. It's the type of buff more exotics need. And what I like most about the Tricksleeves now is that you have that power in your back pocket, you can control it. It has some pure stopping power. In a mid-range gunfight, say he gets some shots on you and you get down in critical health, you get good shots on him, but you're behind cover. You know that he's rushing you, you pull that sidearm out, use your vertical space, you pop out, whatever you do, the sidearm is an instant finisher, it seems. And 2 sidearms come to mind with this exotic that make it really stand out. The Omelon Bursts and the 300 RPM like Rat King. So 1 trigger pull from the Omelon Burst sidearms is 102 damage, and with the 300s, a little pop to 102 damage as well. When you're using the Tricksleeves, the downside is that you have to be in critical health. No one wants to be in critical health, but it happens every single game that we play. But with these Tricksleeves, you have this window of opportunity that opens up to deal massive damage to either defend yourself or be aggressive for a kill. And players that routinely use the Last Hope, other sidearms, things like that, this is going to fit in your playstyle really well on the Hunter. And keep in mind that if you have your sidearm out and get into critical health, you won't be doing the bonus damage. If you're in that situation, you can switch to your primary weapon and then switch back to get the buff going for the sidearm, because you have to switch to it for it to be active. Now, when you switch to that primary weapon and switch back, you have to see it come out. You can't Y it triangle for a fast change. There's a small window of delay that needs to happen. You need to pull it out, kind of see the weapon, and then immediately switch back to your sidearm. A lot of times after a duel, you're going to be critical health, and I just pull that sidearm out and wait. Not rushing because I need to get my health back, but I'm just holding that thing. If someone rushes me and say they're half damage coming at me, you can just instantly melt them with the sidearm and the Tricksleeves buff. But again, personally, I enjoyed the Burst and the 300 RPMs, but the Sturm and Drang are really good with the Tricksleeves. These 2 weapons make you switch between them in the first place. It just works. Like the end of the game right here, I get low health, pull out the Drang. Now, I'm hitting some body shots, but again, that's still doing what would be critical damage. I'm still in critical health. The next guy comes out, I 2-tap him. This is where things start to get really fun. So even though I was hitting body shots with the Drang right there, it's okay. It's as if I was hitting just perfect, magnificent headshots. And that's what's really cool about this buff. But the question is, does this exotic take down the Wormhusk crown? I'm going to say no. However, I will say this. They took an exotic that had 0 usage. I mean, absolute 0 usage. They made it viable. They made it usable. They gave it something special. And in some cases, depending on your playstyle, it could be really useful. It has its place. And if it's one thing that you're learning about hunters with the addition of the Tricksleeves now, between this and the Wormhusk, never chase a one-shot hunter in PvP. Now, I didn't talk about PvE too much in this review. It's fine for strikes, but I don't know about you, I'm not getting into sidearm range and critical health next to an ogre in Escalation Protocol. Just not happening. But I really thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know and let others know what you think about this buff to the Mechaneer's Tricksleeves. Please remember to rate the video, and until the next one, I am Coolguy.